So when you see and hear something as horrific as this, then there's an element of me that thinks about the victims that are still alive, and their suffering and what they've been through, and then an element of me of trying to government aside, where's the accountability? Who was some of the schools run better than others? And I'm sure there were differences in some of the schools for sure, but were the majority of them run with an iron fist in a brutal way? And if they were, why and where are those people? Even if a school closed in 1996, there would have been a dean, a principal or something, a headmaster. And so of the schools that closed in the later years, are there people that ran those schools that are still alive?
Absolutely. And in fact, there are some people, a very small number, that were held criminally responsible, primarily for sexual abuse of children, members of the clergy. But this has never received a full investigation. Like, one of the things that shocks me a bit, Spencer, is if we thought of this many graves of children being found in any other member of society, it would immediately provoke a police investigation of what happened here, right? When you have this many dead children in the ground. That hasn't happened in Canada yet. They're talking about, well, whether they should investigate. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Like, look at the evidence, do an investigation, hold individuals, but also institutions accountable for any criminal wrongdoing that they may have done to these children. You know, one of the interesting things is when Dr. Bryce's 1907 report came forward about preventing those kids from dying, and it was in the newspapers, a lawyer of that day, a guy named Samuel Hume Blake, wrote in to say, in that Canada fails to obviate the preventable causes of death, it brings itself into unpleasant nearness with manslaughter. The question remains, was it manslaughter? And if it was, then who should be accountable? And that same question needs to be asked throughout the decades and across the schools. And we've even found, like, right now, the government of Canada is litigating against some of these survivors, including a group of survivors from what's called St. Anne's Residential School, which is another one of these Catholic-run ones from Ontario. That school, Spencer, had an electric chair. They literally, they had an electric chair that the clergy made. They would put the kids in straitjackets, and they would put them in the chair and electrocute them for punishment or just for enjoyment for the clergy. Like, this is how twisted these places were. The federal government is still litigating against these survivors. Like, why are they doing this? Like, these people have gone through hell, to put it bluntly, and yet the Canadian government is still litigating against them because it doesn't want to compensate them. It's just this kind of stuff that's just mind-boggling.
If you've enjoyed this episode, then click over here where you can get more episodes, or alternatively, you can click over there and subscribe, press the bell button to get your notifications going, so every single time we produce content, you see it first. I'll see you on the next episode.